as Rastafari, start to create our own literatures and make records of Priest Kidemi and Zugu and Bless I. So when I get up in the morning, I'm on turn to one reason in the Zugu. I'm on turn to the reason of Bless I. Listen to the Bless I tune. And chant that as I'm on Psalms. And the chant the Psalms of David. And the Psalms of Solomon no more. Time for I chant Bongo Watu. And chant the Psalms of Prince Emmanuel. And Prophet God. Make them own chant. Time for I get away from European sense pray and worship.
Yes, I new flower this on the ends, representing the flames. Yo, the one after the honorable priest Isaac. Some boy if you know this. Hear me now. Antigua are the place where priest Isaac dwell. Ancient Israel, ancient story fit tell. Yes, yes, up a lalibela where the monk them a dwell. With them mescal, them a broke evil spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Mystic vibration is an angel. And them nah go rebel. In a Zion where we dwell. When we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Yes, he's my angel. His foundations in the wall of mountain. Priest Isaac on the wall of mountain. Him black a reverence on the wall of mountain. Him chant a psalm on the wall of mountain. But never hesitate for yell the king. I take a Isaro Ainin. So proud yes to be an offspring. Mystic vibration of the people them a sing. Angel, mystic vibration is an angel. And them nah go rebel. In a Zion where him dwell. When we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Yes, he's my angel. Priest Isaac is an angel. Mystic vibration is an angel. And them nah go rebel. In a Zion where we dwell. When we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Yes, he's my angel. Trot on the banks of the gully. Isaac trod it through the hills and the valley. Trod it through the town, through the bloody city. Highly, 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 always with we. Highly, 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 I'll protect we. Highly, 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 highly.
Blessed love, Rastafari, give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. This is the first. I'm here with the Honorable Ras Binghi Mike, elder brethren within the community, the owner and the operator and the founder of Ras Idash. I have a lot of names, man. Ras Binghi Mike, Ras Idash Ital shop, established I think about 25 years ago. So give thanks, we're actually in the dining facilities of such an establishment right here in Barnes Hill, in the parish of St. George, in Antigua, nation of Antigua and Barbuda, in the Caribbean, carried so far beyond where we belong. Have a seat, Binghi Mike. That's the forever. King, we go straight in. We want to bunga names. You have many names. One reason about Rastafari and the theology of Rastafari. And the reason why I want the reason about that with you, obviously you can include, the whole concept and the belief. And we live and direct, so everybody here, go on like see them, hear them. And what I do, no feel no way, we live. That's the energy that
they don't charge up.
Understand it, check it, see how we just chatting. So, Rastafari and the theology now. I know that you personally, you're an individual that you think that Rastafari should come out of, as you would call it, the Eurocentric Judeo-Christian outlook of things and the Bible and Father, Son and Holy Spirit and all of these different things. But without really, question and answer as such for the moment. I know you have a lot in your mind. Give me and give, you know, the audience an idea of how you view at this time Rastafari, the theology, its theological outlook, and what you think it should be.
Rastafari. Now straightforward.
Straightforward.
And it take a lot of words for really talk truth still. Truth come in very short words. And like coming in plenty long talking. And plenty suspicion and most of all belief. Some tell the world I'm an unbeliever. First of all. I used to be a believer, but I'm not be a believer no more. I was a believer when I'm in the go through the anagmatizing process. What them put on a man from childhood. Since I man get in tune into cosmology and the fullness thereof, I man get to realize that cosmology, head and theology, theocracy, religion, and all these things, because you make it in tune with one with all things. So then and therefore, in being part of the single animal, it being part of the plural, and the plural of all, which are I and all things thereof, every way. And that is the fullness of Rastafari.
Cosmology, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But through different philosophical reason and the three major religion that infiltrate quotes in the world, purist minds that connect to the cosmos and turn them religious, Rastafari fall victim of such fate. Are you know? Hey! Can get in, man. Let me can't get in. Because anyway, you only can get in, they can go with too.
You very
You check? So, man see that Rastafari get caught up.
They talk the three different
Yeah,
religions.
yeah, man. Man find that Rastafari get caught up in the three basic religion that they control the world too. Not consciously though. You understand? Because that means just be the thing of the day, and that means be the bridge that man may have to cross over. Still forget for sure one light by Africanizing the Bible and Africanizing man way the European kind of lifestyle, you know. Take them clothes and put ice gold and green pandy. Take them pot and cook ital in the. You know me, take them bamboo paper and smoke weed in the. When I'm supposed to smoke cigarette. So Rastafari revolutionized what's in the scene and then just fall victim of Europeanism at the same time. And I'm the one that say that man must change, life must change, cosmos must change. I man change, I man never did have no grey beard, you know.
Yes.
And I man have grey beard now, so that a significant that change must come all the time.
So what you're saying, okay, join the God
So
change.
now,
Okay, go ahead.
concerning the changes, I man see that Rastafari fall victim and triunity within itself of Bobo, 12 tribe and Ras Binghi and all kind of ism and schism.
I'm more than that, you know.
All because of one basic reason, Rastafari find themselves under Judaism, where Judaism only bring ism and schism. And that was the biggest plot that kept the rising Rastafari, both economically and using African spirituality and African metaphors and so. The reggae music, the songs that the writers write, which will bring forward the literatures, I push forward European sovereign all the time.
Reggae music.
The reggae music too. You understand? Because in the reggae music talk more Bible than talk about what happened in Africa with the metaneta, the hieroglyphs and the petroglyphs and the papyrus and all them things. The reggae music more sticking to the King James version. This a version, this a King James version. And then I Africanized the Bible over the last years from the brother Leonard Howell, right? Brother Leonard Howell them just give them thanks still. But just that the generation has rise and become more conscious about what philosophy be and all them things, and realize that the whole summon trick that Rastafari get caught up into too. And call Selassie God. And say Jah Rastafari. And use the Bible every day. And can't even get in tune with their nice self. Because the whole summon plot for a long time to put Rastafari into this stage here. by the European Union to turn Rastafari life of liberty under the Judaism principle. You check? By Leonard Howell Marcus Garvey, everybody to look to the east for the coming of a black king. The writings of Bishop Athanasius, who wrote that revelation that was fixed. The whole world been fixed, just like them Bible say. That Jesus left one sheep, left 99 sheep and go collect one. 1% to run the whole world today. The maths the kind of work out funny. And Rastafari file themselves victim mentally and share the same profits with the 1% day. And that's a I man quest today in a Rastafari. I'm not change. I'm not gonna change. I'm rather change the problem in a Rastafari. Because I man have nothing else to be. You see? So towards the upliftment of Rastafari, I forget away from European doctrine and philosophy in your head. The literatures need to change. That to keep Bobo, 12 Tribe, and Ras Binghi apart. A time for I and I, as Rastafari, start to create I own literatures and make records of Priest Kidemi and Zugu and Bless I. So when I get up in the morning, I'm on turn to one reason in the Zugu. I'm on turn to the reason of Bless I. Listen to one of Bless I tune. And chant that as I'm on Psalms. And the chant the Psalms of David. And the Psalms of Solomon no more. Time for I chant Bongo Watu. And chant the Psalms of Prince Emmanuel. And Prophet God. Make them own chant. Time for I get away from European sense pray and worship. Because if I follow a real tradition and a real life as a melanated people, and I will realize that beyond 3,500 years ago, nobody never prayed, nobody never worshipped nobody never did that. Everything means just in the all, in the one fullness. All I and I. You check? And I man to seek for Rastafari, get forward to the all one I and I. Drive your fancy car if you want, live in a big house in you want, but the mentality, the literatures need to change for Rastafari, that to channel itself into Judaism more and more. Whereas, that's one of the reasons why I make a lot of organization and movements now help Rastafari either. Now work along with Rastafari. You see Rastafari as hypocrite, and I movement as hypocrite. Because the same sum you cuss, the same sum you want for being part of when you're in your solemn self. You chant the Psalms of David. And you cuss the Christian first, and you try cuss the Christian for the Christian David. And you try cuss the Christian for the Christian Solomon. And you try cuss the Christian for the Christian creation story. When I have an own creation story. As a people, as a melanated people. You see, I man can't even say black no more, because black becomes business. In the court, in the judicial system, black a business and white a business. Superiority, inferiority complex set pan and I right there. So I'm gonna deal with the fullness, not black people. People need to get together and get rid of the willy lynchism, which Rastafari have the disease there too. That's why I now move on one away, because the Judaism and the schism and the European metaphor. And I story can begin at 6,700 years old. When you got the Sphinx 18,000 years old, you got Zembedia Boise 1.7 million years old, and Lucy 3.2 million years old. How the creation story could just be 6,700 years old. And Rastafari as a community today, with all them information, where carbon dating exposed to I, and all them things exposed to I, just for function in the same dumb, illiterate, backward ways. Time for I uplift myself and reach out to other people who have the same iration like I concerning putting chaos to subjection. You understand? Because chaos got always there. But the time enough for people who say them good rise up and top go sleep at night time. Because wicked people don't take break from doing wickedness. But I good, and I take Sabbath, and I take day off from doing good subbing. And wicked man punish good every day, every hour, every second. And me good. At 8 o'clock, I go and sleep while the wicked man roam the street for mess me up the next morning. In the lab, in the winery. Right now, the youth them carry my bun a giant unless they have liquor battle against them. And I as Rastafari responsible for messing up a lot of things. Because then I sell and I hold a sacrament. Everything about I and I need on overlook, on overview. That I and I can get rid of this triunity. And bring on oneness, Not on one religion, not on one order, but on whole fullness. That all I and I be a part of that bring on oneness. That is the fullness of cosmology. Just like your body, your red and your white blood cells, them so small, you can't even see them unless you use a microscope. But without them, there is no I and I. And you talk about your heart, your lungs, your kidney, and they're so big and fat up in you. And you can see them, you can hold them, you can touch them. You can't touch your red and white blood cells like that. And them so small. But them so much that they keep up this whole big temple here. So time for I and I look into cosmology, check yourself, see your body function, see how the world function. I know that really not just about Rastafari, not just about being a Rasta man, about some that I and I as Rasta man have to reach out to the world and show the world that medicine I won't believe, Judaism I won't believe, and I as Rastafari have to stop be believers and open I and I vocabulary and pick out the how and the why. Start to function in the how and the why and stop believe. And I believe medicine when the doctor give and I that he go work. And I believe that one day Selassie go come back.
So let me ask
you.
So you when you say believe too, you don't think Rastafari should use the Bible?
No. Not stop using the Bible in the sense of stop using the Bible. Stop using the Bible as reference that it is a part of I and I faith and I and I daily livelihood. And I have to use it as a book of information, as knowledge that we see the ills that the wicked do.
I'll make it go. But since there's a lot of reference given to Haile Selassie, especially for the listening audience, a lot of references from the Bible that Haile Selassie has taken upon himself, even the genealogical acceptance of the lineage of the same King David and Solomon, not just placed upon him, but of him actually accepting it. We have references, we have interviews done in 1963 where a college student asked him how far he could trace his lineage, and he actually says that we are descendant of King Solomon. No, I actually always say to myself, no, make a hold on this one. Kind of me battling, not well in a battling, but for the understanding of the audience. I'm saying now, I even said to myself, okay, Solomon's father is David, David's father is Jesse, and the question was how far you can trace your lineage. And he said he is descendant of Solomon. He didn't say he's descendant of David or Jesse. He said Solomon specifically. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, these are his words. Outside of his words, it is well understood that the Ethiopians have kept their history unbroken for thousands of years. Where does all this fit in? Then when it comes to, for example, as you said, the Bible, you speak about carbon dating and science and these things. Within that same realms, it's considered that the oldest manuscripts of the Bible can be found in the monasteries of Ethiopia, to be precise, in Old Liba, where you have the four, you have the five Gospels of Saint Grimani. So I'm just bringing this as scientific, not just no guests and no talk and all of these things. I'm putting it scientifically now. How does that relate to what you're saying with Rastafari? Especially when it comes to, as I said, the Solomonic lineage, the emperor that whether you praise or praise not, but that we definitely, highlight this is his lineage, the King of Kings that we see from the Bible, the Lion of Judah, the whole thing. How it works, you know? That's the question.
Now, first of all, I'm gonna like to ask why the oldest manuscript concerning this modern day Bible that reference out to Ethiopia.
Ask me that again. Which is
like how far back you can go concerning records of manuscripts or schools that is linked to the King James version of the Bible.
Oh, that depends on what level.
That to link Ethiopia with the Bible, like how old?
Well, just digesting your question here, probably. Well, as I just said a moment ago, if you're going to talk of it scientifically, the known oldest version of the Gospels are said to be in Ethiopia. You see what we're dealing with. I'm going to answer your questions quickly and then give you the floor. What we're dealing with what we've been taught, and we're dealing with what is. Meaning that we've been taught that the Septuagint was translated from the Hebrew Torah. This is what we've been taught. Now, there's not a Torah that you can find in Hebrew that would, balance with that year, the time frame. This happened about 300 years BC. We've been taught. Even the Septuagint that was translated in the Septuagint in Alexandria, Egypt, or Kemet, that original Septuagint still cannot be found. In fact, from my knowledge, the oldest complete Hebrew Bible is about 1,000 years old, which is about 1,000 years AD, which is the Leningrad Codex. So I'm saying that it is obvious that the oldest, I would say the oldest manuscripts that can be related to the Bible as we know it today is the manuscripts where the stories were taken from. And then you're gone to stones, you're gone to walls, you're gone to hieroglyphs, you're gone to the Pergamon room. Some books that you called earlier, you're gone to the papyri, you're gone to specifically the pyramid text and the coffin text, the oldest religious writings. Because these were the scrolls that were translated in the Temple of Alexandria to create what is called the Septuagint. That is.
But now,
but the last point is that the oldest Bible, as we know, the Bible, is Ethiopia has it.
And that's about,
according to their 480.
480. That's 480 would it be like about 2,500 years ago?
No, about 1,500 years ago.
Okay, about 1,500 years ago. Okay, saying that and asking you that because life how one way are telling the truth. They have data, they have genetics, and they have geography. If you could tell the world anything, you have to have data. Because it's something to happen, you have to have it on time, you have to have it on place, geography, and you have to have it on people. Okay, now, I directly specifically ask you the age, the time span of that within Ethiopia. Now the records are proven, according to other teachers, that nothing in Africa, since it become Africa, has been kosher for the last 3,500 years. Nothing concerning the spirituality of El Kibulan, concerning the social life of El Kibulan, and we all know, and Rastafari knows that when a lie is been told for a long time, it will appear to be the truth in a generation span.
For sure.
No, there is no records beyond 3,500 years of nothing European where spirituality concerning Africa, where the origin is El Kibulan. There is no Nubian, no Cushites that explain or have any example of anything in which they have created today, which is Sheba out of East, out of Africa. There was never ever a Sheba. They created the story from a place called Bathsheba in Ethiopia. There was never ever a David, a Solomon, a Sheba. There was never ever a David or Solomon. When Selassie was on a train and this lady was interviewing Selassie, she was saying, I heard that you are from the lineage of David and Solomon. And Selassie said, yes, and Selassie said, oh, it's just a story. So relating that to a story, that meaning it's a spiritual story, European spiritual story that is. It is a metaphor, that is, not to say that a metaphor or a spiritual story, it is something evil or it is something good.
I don't want to cut you, I don't want to cut you. I thinking back because you have that discussion again already. Yes, I get what you say. I think he did say history, He said, he answered it in English too. You could hear the answer in English.
Exactly, my brother.
And he said, he didn't say story, he did say history, but it sound, I know the energy you're saying, because it sounds just like this. This is just our history, our ancient history. That's what he said. I'm positive. Don't feel no way. I'm positive. This is just our history, our ancient history. And he started to say, Queen of Sheba went and met King Solomon, and then the interviewer or the narrator started to talk over what he was saying, so hear it clearly. But we reason of this already. When you're showing that the king just kind of brushed it off.
And he didn't only just brush it off, but you could hear and feel the expression at that time.
Yeah, that's what you.
And at that time, I was a believer. I was really a believer that time. So I felt he said history or what you just said. But it was just a story.
Yes, I get your feeling.
And a story and a story doesn't mean that it is bad. But the problem is that when you try to bring a story into reality, into actuality, that you are trying to let the people that you tell of in the story be of actuality. There is where the crime comes in right there. So the European now try to make all them characters in them story appears to be real when nothing all in the real. And Rastafari hold on upon them too. There is no evidence of no Solomon, no David, nothing. But because of royalty, because of superiority complex, because of control, because of conquest for over 3,500 years now, that lie has been told in Ethiopia. Selassie knew the lie.
So why you keep that?
Selassie knew the lie. And Selassie wasn't perfect. Because perfection and the Selassie thing. Because perfection I know is not Selassie thing. Selassie thing was to let his people be free mentally, just as I am today. And I'm proud that I will never ever in my life again compare Selassie to God. Because God does not have the kind of quality that Selassie has.
Yeah, man, of course not.
God can't compare to Selassie.
But, okay, yeah, I get that. Well, I agree that part, sure. But what I'm saying now, his imperfection that you just explained, what you're saying, his imperfection came with him accepting the lie?
No, it's not about accepting the lie.
So why would he go along with that if it is not the truth?
It's about bringing that lie to reality. I talk of Selassie in such a holistic way because of the Bible. I never see the other side of Selassie. I never take time out to read about the other side of Selassie. I even could see why Europe could actually always disagree with Haile Selassie. Why Europe put heap on their throne and realize, well, this man just ruled. This man
Europe put him on their throne?
Yeah. Right? Because the throne of David in Ethiopia is not an origin Ethiopian throne. It's a European throne that was set and placed in Ethiopia by the Zionists for push Christendom to the world. Because Ethiopia now become the birthplace for them for Christianity. So the whole world now get Christianity. Cause anything when related people touch, I call it evil. Just know you can prosper. Our knowledge, our hands, our mineral give us that kind of power and energy to perfect anything, even wrong. And Haile Selassie acknowledge the whole universe and the cosmos and know that people must be free mentally. So what Europe wanted him to do while sitting on their throne, he didn't do. But he won the confidence of the people, and people is worth more than money. People is worth more than religion and politics. People is power, and that is why they get scared of Haile Selassie, because he get the whole of Ethiopia for be with he. Not only the whole of Ethiopia, he get Africa for be with he. And in the whole aspect of it, he get the whole world spiritually under the same European concept for war with him, and he end up and show them that you have to have knowledge. And with the knowledge that I man gain, get to realize that Africa, Ethiopia has not been kosher for the last 3,500 years. So any type of spiritual story that come out of Africa, because he named Africa now, it's not El Kiboland no more. Any kind of spiritual story that come out of Africa, in the kosher cousin for me. If you come out of El Kiboland, where I and I pay fullness to the all and not the singular, where I and I pay fullness to I and I zoomatic forms, not by worship, by holding on to the principle of the lion, holding on to the principle of the falcon bird, holding on to everything that is dear to I and I, which is a part of the all that me make you work before 3,500 years ago. When they come and broke down the obelisk, mash up the pyramid, dissect Kemet, and call them Egypt. From the time he named Egypt, in the kosher no more. Okay. So from out of that, Rastafari rise of that African consciousness that was not even kosher, and come today to make it kosher.
That teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will include. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will include. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own to make ourselves free men. Our great scholars have advanced through the colleges and universities, have thrown away the blessed record. Babylon did it. Assyria did it. France under Napoleon did it. Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it. England under America under George Washington did it. Africa with 400 million black people can do it.
You know, okay. I follow in everything you said there. You're dropping some very important points, and it's definitely something new to the ears of, I'm sure, many. Okay, all right. You dropped a point concerning the emperor and the throne of Europe. Not that point alone, but the infiltration into the Ethiopian society with that same throne. I would want you, if it's possible, since you mentioned date and data, and so maybe you could give us a time frame of when that happened, because obviously whenever that happened, you know, we could try to see how that correlates with whoever was ruling at the time. But hold the word here. But I'm just saying now, okay, you're saying that they brought the throne, Europe's throne, into Ethiopia, infiltrated
not
Ethiopia.
The throne alone.
That's what I'm coming. Hold on. You know, to assist in bringing in the Christian concept
and the Muslim concept.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Now I'm saying that Haile Selassie's father is Ras Binghi. Mother Waziro Yashima Bet. We don't know that much of her. I wouldn't say we know much about Ras Binghi neither, but we know something. We know of Menelik, Ras Binghi's cousin. We're right here in Antigua. We're in Barnes Hill. You know, this is where as I say, my roots, if not my roots, at least the branch. You know, because my father was born just over there. So his grandmother was born over there.
And my father was born right there, and his neighbor's string was buried right there.
Okay, you see the signs. So I'm saying now, if we can know that, me and you can know that, what stands out about the Ethiopian people more than anything is that they have. Now, for the case of, just for the sake of this conversation, because I want you to get me good, I was going to say they have kept, which I do accept that they have kept, but just for conversation, and you're going to see why I change it. They have a record, unlike any other nation or people, of their history and even their genealogy that goes back at least 2,000 years. Now, you know, they say 3,000, but I shaping it down just so I can come in the ballpark properly. Hear me go good, man. Hear me good. Now, what I'm saying, you go to all different monasteries. The thing with Ethiopia is not just Haile Selassie lineage and the king lineage, you know. The regular Ethiopian and more so those in nobility and, you know, those of a northern have their family record. So although I never see my father's parents, but I know about Ambo and Darlin, but I don't know too much beyond that. It's not so in Ethiopia. They have a culture where they have kept their family lineage, their literal family lineage throughout the millennia. That's well known. That's nothing spooky. That was well practiced in Africa. It seems like there was this break in record keeping, at least to the masses. Obviously, you know, they have pockets of people still keeping records. That's why you see Europe have their dark ages. There was this break of record keeping. That's why we're digging up things in Egypt. Oh, we find this and find that. But Ethiopia has had this record, whether you think it's correct or not, but they have this culture of keeping their records down to the name that almost today, in this modern time, it may be changing. But I'm sure 100 years ago, which is not too long ago, in the span of how long we're talking, you could go to almost any Ethiopian family and they may have it on sheepskin, in Amharic and in Gaze, grandfather, going back at least 1,000 years. Now I'm saying they do that. The Ethiopian lineage do that. Now the Ethiopians have in their story, their lineage going all the way back, the history of the Queen of Sheba. I ain't talking about Solomon. I'm talking about Makeda or Queen Candace. They're excavating a temple in a palace in Ethiopia that most individuals believe is the Queen of Sheba's temple. Most people that don't believe in the legend obviously would say it's not. All right. It is said that she spoke the Sabian language. What I'm saying, Brother Mike, Binghi Mike, this is what I'm saying. Shouldn't we give the Ethiopians at least a certain level of respect and credibility for keeping their records, unlike any other people, over at least 2,000 years? That if they can say, well, look, Selassie, look his daddy, oh yeah, we read about it. Look his daddy, yeah, we read about it. Look the king of Shoa, oh, we read about it. Oh, we read about him, and they go and end up at Sheba. So which part in that history did the break come? Which part did the European come in and switcheroo and put in this new lineage and say, hey, let's make up some name and carry them all the way back up there? When did that happen? Because we know the history of King Philadeus of Gandhar running out the Jesuits who wanted to Roman Catholicize the Ethiopian theology. So I'm asking, So I and even the audience can get a good understanding. As I say, we're dealing with facts and data, and I think, even if you don't believe in the quote-unquote Ark of the Covenant, you could add that to your conversation. But the Ethiopians swear that they have a box that they get from somewhere, whether it make you drop down when you come close to it or not, but they swear they have something. And history shows that they have many arks and many barks. But so they say they have something that they move from one place and carry it to Lake Tana, and then they carry it to some island there, and they carry it on Deborah, then it reach Lalibela, and right now it's in Axum. What you want to see? They make up all of that? Go to my Lord.
Rastafari.
Selassie.
Rastafari.
I just go far to ask a question, no, but we want clarity.
Yes, sir, Rastafari.
Your doctrine is a bit different.
No, as the I mentioned about time, right? We'll just set the item for like, according to the teachers, because I'm on a part of the R, so I'm listening to white, black, pink, and purple. So I will mention one brother, David, that talk about the invasion, the whole world from this particular people. 3,500 years ago, when these Caucasian people come forward pan El Kibulan and they take charge of the Mayans, them take charge of actually the whole world, whereas them take hordes and the years for plan together for really hit this. The people them that the brother talk about was placed in strategic places to take over both genealogy with sex and amalgamation, so you can place your own records. The biggest weapon that people used to use then was sex. So when I mentioned that they have their record, and there is a break, and they have 2,000 years is just the other day. Yeah. The controllers, the 1% who run the world, they stated that if your wealth is not 3,000 years of wealth, you can't be super rich. You can't have no control in the planet. That is just wealth. And talking years, that is 3,000 years of wealth they're talking, so that they are chasing back their generation for over 3,000 years. And you now are bring forward to me one philosophical story of spirituality, Africanizing El Kibulan during the time when they don't call it Africa. Like, that story was placed there strategically by one group of people called the Zionists 3,500 years ago. These are the people, the Zionists, who was paid by the same Jesuits to see to it that the Bible prophecy in which Rastafari hold on to come to fruition. Okay. And they have an open check when they are being paid to see to it that this prophecy that is written in the Council of Trent, in the Council of Nicaea, the Council of Chaldea, they are being paid to see to it that it happened, and they are still being paid to see to it that the revelation fulfilled, that Bishop Athanasius wrote. So, talking about the records in Ethiopia, you're still not covering 3,500 years of a people that is kosher. Everything about the Ark of the Covenant is strategically written by this group of people, Shakespeare Society, to place upon people minds in an anagmatizing process to believe that I must believe while you say supposedly. Supposedly is not a strength for me to know something. You want to say this is the tomb of David. No, you, the scholar who study carbon dating, who know data, is still using the word today, 2018. This is supposed to be the tomb of David. No, why not accuracy with your metaphor? Like I would say, a black people build a pyramid day. A melanated people build a pyramid day. Without one doubt, one fumble, not supposedly. Me will say, see the Sphinx there? a black people belong with some broad nose and some big ear. Man, I say, the springs was put there 18,000 years ago, supposedly by some black people. I mean, had a scholarship.
Yeah, plenty, man.
I mean, are confident. And you are supposedly with David, with a story that will govern, with a story that will govern people life, govern your child life spiritually. It doesn't make any sense. And Rastafari need for open and see the anagmatizing process that you actually learn things before you could read it. And when you could read it, it begins to sink in. And then when you put that sink in into politics, the medicinal church, and religion, there is no way that a person easily escape from that judgment. Because your life begins to surround and upon hope, faith, and belief. When all these attributes speaking are installed in you personally, I have hope, I have faith, I have belief, but I am not a believer.
Yeah.
I have how and why, how it happened, when it happened, which part it happened, and who do them. I don't, at this day and age, where my youth, 9 years old, and plenty of them hold on the youth, they go look for me and talk about, and I am have to tell them, supposedly,
Maybe.
when in counting carbon, family can count to 6,700 years with carbon dating, you have to count to 6,700 years, because number is infinite. So why does the three-major religion, which Rastafari hold fast to, still pay in people to say that carbon dating only be 6,700 years old?
Okay.
And yet still Rastafari accept 6,700 years, but I still try to stretch out 6,700 years by accepting the Sphinx, by accepting the Metaneta, which is older than that. So it begins to become confusing where spiritual story can concern.
Let me come in here. I mean, you're talking a lot of, wise mind, but I have to, you make mention of this society literally infiltrating Ethiopia to make sure the Judo-Christian prophecy is fulfilled.
Yes. And it's a big example to show what they did to the Mayans.
When the white people came and they say
and they breed out the Mayans and turn them into a race where they want like pit bull and call them Mexicans and Spanish.
Of course, yeah. But with the
So you could imagine the strongest set of people in the universe at that time. You have to definitely work on them as you can't get nobody else weak. So strategically, these so-called Muslims, these Judaic Christians, these Christians attack mutilated people who they know if they touch that, it will turn to gold. Just like the story when the man say everything he touch, you want to turn him to gold. They know that anything black people, mutilated people touch,
King Midas and the golden touch. Okay, yeah, I get
they will manifest it in the way that they want. So they brought their thing over there and watch me and you tell you as Rasta man. I try for suss out for them something in Ethiopia. When I'm supposed to crash them some out Ethiopia.
But here, hold on. But if you get this very clear, hear what I'm asking you now. So you're saying now, so these infiltrators, they come with a program that is already set.
Just like the telephone.
Listen, to make sure that the prophecies then of Bible and these different religions get played out. So I believe, all right, sister, I believe you're speaking of even as it relates to Haile Selassie and being crowned King of Kings. And
yes.
So now, as Rastafari, not even as Rastafari, as even, yes, King, bless her man.
Yes.
Sitting and within my own personal self now. So we talk about 72 nations coming and bowing at his feet.
part of
Hold on.
the paradigm phrase
Listen
and
me
phase.
good. No, listen me good, because I just started. I wanted to listen me good. So we talk about the 72 coming and the coronation of the emperor. And we still highlight that Psalms 72, as using biblical reference, shows about a coronation and its mystic. I personally, I highlight the 72 individuals that came to Osiris' banquet within the Osiris typology, wherein Osiris as well has a lot of similarities to even the life movements of Emperor Haile Selassie I. Within the obviously the prophecy of the King of Kings, and on his thigh he shall be crowned King of Kings and Lord of Lords. All right. And there are other prophecies that the same line of Judah and from the lineages of David and all of these different things. So what I'm gathering from you now is that behind the scenes, not in no spiritual realm, not no council of the gods, but behind the scenes they have some wicked people that have an agenda, and they molding these prophecies of religion.
Yes.
Hold on. Yeah, that's part one. I'm coming to part two. They molding these prophecies of religion, and just like how people pick people to be things, and pick him to be the next president, and pick him to be the next prime minister, Rastafari was somewhere along the line picked to fulfill this prophecy. And gathering from your early part of this conversation, he rebelled against them. That is a justification you're bringing in. Now I'm saying outside of those simple prophecies, they have some other levels now when it comes to Haile Selassie I. There was 8 children that was born before the king, and all of them died. That come back to the Ethiopian record of history. All of them died, and the king was the 9th youth. And when the 10th youth now, the next child was being born, the mother and the child died at the same time. I've heard elder Ethiopians that live in Germany speak about the end of the 7-year drought, the very, very day that Haile Selassie was born. The prophecy that was fulfilled when Italy attacked. Now, what I just said about the birth and the storm and so, that's one thing. What happened in World War II, we know that the wars are planned. I can see what you're saying, because these wars, obviously, the high oligarchy and these ones, as I said, behind the scenes, plot these wars and fund these wars, for sure. So now Haile Selassie I appearing before the League of Nations and the aftermath thereof, and even before when Mussolini invaded. In fact, what we boast of as prophecy being that he left the 5th of May and returned the 5th of May, and in the next 2 days it's the 5th of May, exactly 5 years apart. So am I to accept that all of this, like chess, was strategically put in place, and Haile Selassie was used or utilized as a pawn on the board just to make sure that fulfilled? And somewhere along the line in your narrative, he was a rebel against them, so that's why they didn't really like him, so we can still praise him. This is what I'm getting here from there.
No, not like he was just a rebel against them. In the higher councils, according to the lodges and according to the dignitaries, there are meetings of meetings of meetings. One principal thing Selassie does do with even the same meetings, that these are meetings that when you pan them kind of level, these are meetings of records that won't place to the world. You understand? And everything about Selassie then, where literature is writing concern, talking about the mystic as the I talk about, I must see quotes on the mystics too.
Right.
Right surrounding me right here, so.
Of course.
When rain boss, I man they Binghi and see John Bang and rain boss.
Lightning.
And lightning. So the mystical part, the
Last time I go Bobby Hill.
natural.
Last time I go Bobby Hill and the Sabbath, a lighter chalice and an earthquake.
An earthquake pass. All them a mistake. Them are the energy that placed upon this generation, upon life. You understand me? See? So that are the mistake. But no, as a man of Selassie knowledge, who have so much degrees, so much things placed upon him, as right, according to the paradigm, phrase, and phase in which we are living in. You understand what me say? What been said, say, and what been done, done. And if you're out of that, you are one that oppose me. So you're the one that can get punished. Now, in the whole fullness at the system, the political system in which Selassie was a part of, and the religious churchical system in which Haile Selassie was a part of, he made decisions beyond the expectation of the controllers.
Okay, well, yeah, this is what I was getting from you earlier.
He made decisions for the people beyond the expectation of the controllers, because each king before him holded on so that he could become that king then. Else they would have done crushed and something. If anybody else would have been stand up before Haile Selassie, they didn't get the chance. He come from Hara and go Addis Ababa at such an early age.
But no change of 50
You understand what I say? He left there. When he reached Addis Ababa, not even the man's son like him. Nobody like him because as a youth, he just suspicious over things. He left Hara and go Addis Ababa with the vocabulary in his head done. With enough for his vocabulary, how and why. That's a hard he born within there. How and why. And with them two something in your head. Anything and balance. You don't need religion for that. You don't need God, heaven and hell and Satan for that. You don't need prophecy for that. You just need for open intuition and ask how and ask why with balance. Simple that the king teach I man. And with that bring all these answers to I man why I man step forward tonight on the media. So wait now. Can you ask me that? So now being of such a variety, so educated, which you know you have so much degrees and so much universities, and then that he really got you all the studies. And that he done so high that in the paradigm, phrase and phase, he deserved that. So whether or not he want him, he have to get him.
I agree with that. I see that.
You understand me? Say, and King of Kings and all the names that Haile Selassie I get at the time of the coronation are names from other nations. Each nation bring them highest name and place upon him. And the highest one for Ethiopia was Rastafari Haile Selassie. And he himself realized that if me can get this title here, a time enough for me to do something for back for me people who can be people. He wasn't a person for religion that the people put for them name upon he Ababa Janai. That was not politics. That was not religion. That was the individual man worth. So what make I take away this individual man worth and I turn him over to politics and religion and philosophy. Instead of take this man, Haile Selassie, see him attributes, follow his ways, keep up his movements, for see to it that black people manifest in them own culture, them own sense of spirituality for rise up economically in the world.
That's why him and Jomo Kenyatta have difference. With them same principle and reasoning.
You understand? So I must see that because Haile Selassie wanted so much for El Kibalan, the European Union couldn't take it as on one individual. And what get the European Union scared? That he have people behind of him. Not military, people behind him, which is still more powerful than the military. So you know what they did? They forced this guy, Mengistu, to set up a propaganda press against this man. So what in the world else that you can tell me again about this man after you done set up one propaganda press, not only just to the world, but to the more significant roots of the nation, the students and them in the university. Them are the ones that go come out now for be the leaders of Ethiopia. Them are the ones go come out for be the leader of the generation for medicine and technology. And Selassie are the one who bring it to them. For me to know education can be used for good and evil. Make I raise the standard and use them for good. He bring airport. He bring everything that them so-called modernized world have just to show the world nobody wiser and brighter than you. Take the same stubborn and use them for good.
Of course, yeah.
So this is why Europe start to get frightened about, and that all them kind of principally caused the individual war against. Europe was now warring against Ethiopian people alone. They had a personal war against Haile Selassie for being crowned the Lion of Judah and not portray what the Lion of Judah is supposed to do, kiss their ass.
Yeah, I can say that.
So them little secret they cover them up with religion. Make I and I as Rastafari start to say,
So
Jah!
that's what the Lion of Judah is supposed to do.
Jah! Short word for Jabulian, a phrase of the European Hebrew word. Lord, God, all work hard upon the Illuminati pyramid. Selassie, a king of kings, not because of Ethiopia. Selassie, a king of kings because of Europe. A European title that Europe got king of kings and lords of lords. Ethiopia don't have king of kings and lords of lords. Ethiopia got Selassie I. Ethiopia got Rastafari. Ras mean head. Tafari mean creator. Hail mean power. Selassie mean might of the Trinity. Not European Trinity. Man, woman and picnic as Selassie have a wife for prove that are the power of the Trinity. Not one spirit like a European say. Father, Son and Holy Spirit and the Hound Jumbi.
So, the King of Kings, so the Ethiopian don't have Negus and Negast?
All Europeans someplace in Ethiopia. The Negus, the Negasta, the Orthodox Church, a Catholic church that place in Ethiopia. Using other names for cover them. A same Catholic principle all of them be. All of them serve the same prophet. If Rastafari rise up above that and start to push them own prophets, push priest Kidemi, push Zugu, push priest Isagai Fu, and Lego Jesus, and Lego Jalad and God and Jehovah Jireh, and start push Rastafari Haile Selassie.
Well, Haile Selassie, you say that the title, because you say title, but that is not the name, and Rastafari is his literal name. Haile Selassie like his name, and his title now being Negus and Negasta or whatever. What was it? Ababa Janai.
All them the Ethiopian name, what all your people did. Them that all them name you call, and I proud for call them any day.
Yeah, man.
And that's an I name. I never call him a king of kings and a lords of lords and a Jah and all them kind of something. I'm a European someplace by the king in Ethiopia. And many other some that I need to stop it and create I literatures today before the next 13 years come up on I. Because if 100 years come up to I prior to the carnation, there will be no more Rastafari. There will be Judaism.
Yeah, Ras Mike, we can steal up this
And
one.
the time for I as Rastafari start put money together and pay the youths them money, cash money for literature as Rastafari and tap sit down upon I wealth.
Right, of course. I totally agree with you. Yeah, give
Whole
thanks.
ton of Rasta man out there, a whole ton of money. I man said I have a whole ton of money out there, Rasta man. And I not spend that money to educate the youth them. Rastafari I go dead. If I do nothing about that.
They need that.
Whole ton of there then got picnic. I had your box money and I had your money from bank and I can't your money for stay to with that tech to youth and pay them a daytime. I pay them on salary. Pay them $2,000, $3,000 a month for literature as Rastafari. I my hands up any day. For pay youth. For literature as Rastafari from out of European Judaism and out of Jesus Christ and Lord and God. Fire!
So you can't, they don't lock off it, no? So I say now, this is the place in December, you know, we're having a grand hike to Green Castle Hill. They're having a hike to get on the Yoga Hospital Sunday. Yeah, anyway, in December, the 21st of December, we're having a grand hike to Green Castle Hill. International hike. I'm gonna have people coming here from England, from the USA, from Jamaica, from Trinidad, Barbados, Belize, Brazil, yeah, Sweden. They don't tell me they're coming, eh? So I just letting the people them know that for sure when they come to, we have to pass by Ras Binghi Mike Ital shop. You know, at least one of the days they're gonna be here for 7 days. So at least one of the days we have to have lunch with the man, you know. So as the time gets closer, you'll know more about it, you know. So look forward for the international community to come and visit you. Yes, my lord. Give thanks to the moment. Give thanks to the word.
Rastafari.
Holy Emmanuel, that's Mike. Yeah. Rastafari. Yeah, wonderful reasoning. Blessed love.
Subscribe to the Mystic Vibration Shock of the Hour program today and receive our nightly show immediately after each and every broadcast. This will be done via the email and will be found in your inbox. For the small price of only 50 United States dollars, you will receive almost 20 hours of raw information, knowledge, research, and scholarship on various subject areas and topics that are necessary to be addressed at this time. In addition, all subscribers will receive our monthly video lecture series, which has a value of 20 United States dollars. They will receive the video lecture for free that is related to the month that they are subscribing for. To subscribe, call or WhatsApp 1268-728-3162 or email priestisaac27@gmail.com. The Mystic Vibration is a program that is every Monday to Thursday at 6 p.m. sharp Eastern Caribbean time on Radio Anu